The Mac Studio, as the name not implies but states directly, is a Mac designed for the studio. But what kind of studio? Apple showed us some perfectly curated studio sets in their March event, and my testing has confirmed that this Mac will fit seamlessly into a video or film studio, music studio, photography studio. But what about 3D design, or more specifically, modern game development studios? Can the Mac Studio make the cut in modern game development? Let's find out.
It's the money.
Hey guys, welcome to Elevated Systems. I'm your host CJ, and I've spent the past few weeks testing the base model M1 Max Mac Studio in my workflow to see if it has the performance necessary to replace my workstation PC as my primary studio computer. Now, up to this point, the Mac has actually outperformed my much more powerful and much more expensive workstation PC in what is my primary workflow of video editing and motion graphics. But to be honest, I was only slightly surprised by these results. Regardless of how you feel about Mac or Apple overall, they've really created something impressive with the M1 line of processors, which just punch so much above their weight class, especially in any application that takes advantage of the SoC's media engine. So DaVinci Resolve, Premiere Pro, After Effects programs that I've thus far tested work awesome. But what happens if we remove the media engine from the mix and look at programs that will just leverage the CPU and more so the GPU? How will this Mac Studio perform in a 3D game development pipeline? Just real quick qualification, my professional game development experience is almost entirely asset creation. As a freelancer, I've been commissioned by game studios to build 2D and 3D assets for various games. This means I've built characters, vehicles, sets, and even entire maps for mobile, console, and desktop games. Typically, I'd build the asset in ZBrush, 3ds Max, or Maya, depending on what was needed. If necessary, I'd rig the asset. Typically, the game-ready rigs were provided, and before delivery, I'd test the asset in the specific game engine. That workflow was the plan I had coming into this video last week. Unreal Engine 5 was just officially released, so I thought I'd create a 3D character asset in ZBrush, UV work and rigging in Maya, and then plug it into a UE5 project, all on the Mac Studio. That was the plan, and luckily it turns out I started backwards by first installing Unreal Engine 5, not just to familiarize myself with the update, but really to relearn the entire thing because it's been like 6 years since I've worked with it, to be honest. I installed the Epic Game Launcher and then Unreal Engine 5. I grabbed the new cross-platform Lyra sample project for Unreal Engine 5 and created a project. Launched it and ran into the first problem. On first launch, it took over 90 minutes for the engine to compile the stock shaders. Now, keep in mind, Unreal Engine does not run natively on Apple Silicon, but unlike most 86 software, it doesn't seem to do too well with Rosetta 2 translation. The problems persisted. Once I finally got the shaders compiled and launched the Lyra project, UE immediately crashed. I restarted, relaunched, and was able to get into the editor, but as soon as I tried to load in a map, crash. I was able to get into some of the simple maps, do some simple editing, and even play in the editor, but the performance was bad. You can even see if you look at the text on the loading level that there are problems. And when I just tried to load into the map in game mode, well, again, it didn't go well. Many of the textures wouldn't load and the controls were, well, just unresponsive. I even tried to create a simple template project, but UE crashed before I could launch it. I spent a long time, too long, trying to give Unreal Engine 5 a good shakedown, but in its current form, it's just not usable on the Mac Studio. Even the Epic launcher itself caused problems, not allowing me to quit the app or restart the system. I ended up having to do a hard shutdown and then just uninstalling everything. Now, I wasn't hugely surprised by this. I had talked to a couple of game dev friends of mine, and they gave me a list of problems with Unreal Engine 4 on Apple Silicon. The list of things that instantly crashes the engine is extensive, from lighting modes to procedural assets, and they told me UE5 probably wouldn't be much better, not for a while anyway. Now, despite Epic and Apple's history, lawsuits and all, Epic has said it's wholeheartedly working towards native Apple support for Unreal Engine, but the current version of UE is not it, despite it being a major new release almost a year and a half after M1 systems entered the wild. Anyway, more for reference, I did duplicate everything on my workstation, and Unreal Engine 5 and the Lyra project ran just fine, surprisingly well for a sample project actually. I don't want to dwell on it too much, just to say that it worked both in the editor and in gameplay. Even with the hardware ray tracing enabled, everything seemed to work as intended on the PC. So while I'm sure there are probably bugs in UE5, the problem is not just UE5, it's UE5 on Apple Silicon, and that's the problem. Now, this could have derailed my entire plan and made for a short and disappointing video, but my game dev buddies did tell me that Unity worked great on an M1 system, and there was even native Apple Silicon version. Now, admittedly, I have very little experience with Unity, but I'm a quick learner, so with no problems, I installed the Unity Hub in both the latest stable Apple version and the newer beta version. However, to brush up on the app, I wanted to run through a tutorial or two, but the tutorial projects weren't compatible with the Apple Silicon versions. I ended up installing the Intel LTS version to go through the tutorials, and although admittedly the projects were very basic, they ran just fine on the Intel Unity editor. I had zero issues, and I spent way more time than necessary building a very rudimentary first-person shooter. Everything worked. I was able to add library and imported assets to the projects. Navigation and asset manipulation in the viewport was smooth and quick. I ran through the developing level multiple times during the process, zero crashes. In the end, I quickly published the project with the WebGL publisher, so I guess it's out there somewhere now, and I compiled the project locally, both with the Unity builder, and I output it as an Xcode project, which I was able to debug and quickly compile. And the final game worked just like I designed it to. I then pulled up a simple RPG style game project that was also not compatible with the Apple editor. However, after importing the project in the Intel version, I saved the project and then changed to the Apple editor, and it opened and functioned without any issues running on Apple Silicon. Again, I spent too much time exploring this little world, but I did explore some more demanding projects. While many of the templates and sample environments were not available in the Apple editor, I just created a project in the Intel LTS editor and then reopened it in the native editor. And as expected, the high definition render pipeline project ran better natively. Everything in the viewport responded great. I even did a little visual scripting to expand the particle distribution and flight path of the butterflies in the project. Now, I planned on animating a camera path and rendering out a walkthrough video, but I just ran out of time, so instead, I built the project and the Mac Studio did that in 4 minutes and 30 seconds. And again, this could be done much quicker in Xcode. Finally, for reference, the same project on the latest LTS editor on my PC performed better than the Mac, with frame rates up to 42% higher at 1080p and 132% better at 4K, and the build only took about 13 seconds on the PC. However, compiling with Visual Studio was about the same as Xcode. Now, admin note, I was screen recording a mirrored display of the Mac externally on my PC, but because the PC is my capture system, I was screen recording the PC performance internally, so that can possibly knock a tiny bit of performance off the PC, but there was no perf hit to the Mac. Okay, before I get into the conclusion, I think the biggest impression was I had fun. I enjoyed the simplistic power of the Unity editor. In fact, I had so much fun I didn't get into the asset creation part of the plan. But to be honest, if you saw my series on the M1 iMac, I already showed that 3D polygon modeling in ZBrush, Blender, UV work and rigging in Maya all worked good, great in fact. The problem came with rendering performance. Both real-time viewport rendering and final output is where the system struggled. So maybe if I revisit some 3D software on the Mac Studio, I'll focus more on real-world project rendering and maybe some VFX and simulation, fluid and particle dynamics maybe. Why don't you guys let me know in the comments what 3D apps and workflows y'all want to see on the Mac Studio, if any. But that's later. Today, what did I think of game dev, albeit the very limited scope? Well, I guess the big takeaway is you're not creating the next Elden Ring on this Mac Studio, but you can create the next Clash of Clans or Fantasian on the Mac Studio. While you can get better performance with broader compatibility for much cheaper on the PC side, for example, I quickly checked the performance of the HDRP project on my $900 basic gaming PC, and just quick math in my head as I watched, I was getting frame times about 25 to 80% higher than the Mac. But if you're looking to build iOS games or Apple Silicon optimized games, then this is probably the best tool for that job. Hopefully in the future, more development tools like Unreal Engine will be compatible, but in the meantime, with tools like Unity and Xcode, you can definitely develop the next big iOS or Apple Arcade hit with the Mac Studio.